Well, hello people of Playground. Today I wanted to talk to you about some basic 2D styles. So I have a few images here where I've utilized the same seed, same prompt, and I would put the style at the front of the prompt so that you can see visually what's going on here. For this demo, we're just using SDXL, no filters. And as always, I'll leave the prompt in the description below. Now, the first one we have here is anime, and you can tell by the round eyes, the shading, the overall look of the image. It's got that anime style. The next one over is comic style, and by the way, these are just comments. If you press C on your keyboard, you'll be able to put in some notes here for yourself, and then you can move these around and place them anywhere. It's sort of like sticky notes. Of course, you can use this when you share your canvas, but I use it for sticky notes. For comic style, we see here we have thicker black outlines, different style of shading compared to anime, and even the smaller details here. The veins in the leaves, the outlines, and of course the details in the armor, the weapon, slightly different. The next one over is 2D illustration. One of the things you'll notice is that the black outlines are a lot thinner and the shading is more noticeable. Although the composition is pretty consistent between all these images, we have a different style of armor, different weapon as well. So you might even favor this look over the comic style. Moving over to the next one, we have vector illustration. Now, vector art is known to be more minimal, more flat. We do have some nice thick outlines. Now, let's be clear, it doesn't make it vector art per se, but it does mimic that look. And then right next to it, we have 2D drawing. Notice the lines are a lot more rough, not as clean, different in color and detail for sure. These two are color pencil styles, and this one just has color pencil shading. This one has color pencil crosshatch. Now, if we look at the style of the shading, again, we have the black outlines. But if we look at the color pencil crosshatch, it's got a very different style of shading, and even the little details are a lot more pronounced between the two. So if we look at under the hat here, there we go. Personally, I like this style. It reminds me of in my days of drawing and coloring my characters. This was sort of the style of shading that I would lean towards. I can do a whole nother video on shading, so let me know in the comments below if you want to see that. But personally, I love this style myself. And then the next two are sketch drawing and line art. Very similar, black and white obviously, but sketch drawing looks a bit rougher, more like a drawing, where we have cleaner lines with line art here. Now, as always, what I like to do with these individual prompt words is put them together to develop a certain style and look. This image on the very left is utilizing 2D illustration and color pencil crosshatch. Now, to get more of the 2D look is where we can utilize prompt guidance. If you look at the images here, same prompt, same seed, but we have a prompt guidance of 5, 7, and 10. You'll notice that the contrast increases as we get higher. And yes, the overall look of the image is going to change from the details even to the face. However, you could use this to your advantage if you want more of a flatter 2D look. You could bring up this prompt guidance up to 15, 20 even, which I'll show you in other demos later. But this is a good technique to flatten your images to more of a 2D look. Now, be aware though, like we didn't start with a good hand in the first place, but it could mess things up even more the higher you go in your prompt guidance. So it's always best to start with a good image. I just wanted to use the same seed to kind of show you the progression throughout the prompt guidance. With these three images, I used 2D drawing, colored pencil crosshatch, once again prompt guidance of 5, 7, and 10. A slightly different style from the previous version, but you can see once again that although the details are changing, we're getting more of that 2D feel. Now remember, as I always say, context matters. If you do this with a portrait image, chances are the image is just going to be really contrasty, and that may not be what you want. Now, this method can also work if you want to use a filter because you like that style. In this example, I'm using Starlight and Zavi Chroma, both very different looks. But as you see with Starlight, it naturally has sort of a 2.5 3D feel to it, but I love the look and I love the details. So to give it more of that 2D look, I followed the same process. I just brought the prompt guidance up, used similar prompts to what we just looked at. And if you look at how detailed this one is, although I love the look of this, as I bring the prompt guidance up, this is a prompt guidance of 10, 15, and 20, and you see how much more flatter it looks compared to a prompt guidance of 10. Although it keeps some of the 3D shading elements, which I personally like, as we get higher here, now we really start to see the contrast coming through where it's skewing the colors in the background. Now, this could be a look that you like as well. But if we look at Xavi Chroma here with a prompt guidance of 4, 10, and 15, we see the same results happening. And then all the way up to 20, how much more flatter the image looks. And before I forget, to counteract the 3D look, you also want to put those terms in the negative prompt. Words like CGI, 3D, Unreal Engine, it'll just help enhance that 2D look. In these examples, I used counterfeit. For those of you that are familiar with counterfeit, it's known for its anime style. Here's the prompt just with the counterfeit filter. Adding 2D illustration changes the style and the details of the look. Then combining it with comic style 2D illustration, and then using my personal favorite color pencil cross hatching. I do like the details and the shading in particular here. I'm always about the small details. Now to take it further, and this is more of a stylistic choice, even though I started with counterfeit, I ended up doing an image to image using the Starlight filter with a prompt guidance of 4, 10, and 15, just because I like the style of Starlight and I like the overall look of it, and I really wanted to pull the details out a bit more. I may gravitate to 10, maybe towards 15, but I probably wouldn't go higher than 15 because now it's starting to be just a bit too contrasty. But for the most part, I'd be really happy with this style and this look. Now there's so much more in 2D styles that we can cover, from ink styles, shading, artistic styles. So make sure you're subscribed and let me know in the comments below what are some 2D styles that you like to do yourself. One of my personal favorites as of late is on the screen here, and this prompt was inspired by the developer of Starlight Animated. He's known as ChillPixel on the web, and on the left you see this prompt with Starlight Animated, and I applied it to Xavi Chroma on the right, and you can check out the breakdown of those two filters right here, and if it's not there yet, that means I'm just editing it. Until the next video, my friends, this is Playground.